All right, so wherever you're at is great. Just experimenting. A couple other things to show you about that. That's like a very high-tech version of vector illustration. We're not going to get to that point of detail. You will be able to make something like that at the end of this class, but we probably won't have the time for you to make something with such detail. So that's sort of like a quick trick for getting those really detailed vector images. If you use your selection key, so press V if it's not already selected, that's your regular arrow, and click on a line that you made with your paintbrush. And if you don't have a line that you made with your paintbrush, you can grab the paintbrush real quick. The shortcut for brush is B. We're going to learn about lines starting tomorrow. This is an organic line, meaning it's free-flowing and natural. It's not straight. And if I click the pen tool with this selected, the pen tool is 2 down from the selection tool. The shortcut is P. You'll notice a bunch of dots show up on this line. Each one of those dots is called an anchor point. And that anchor point speaks to the anchor point before and after it to describe the curve that comes between them. I know that sounds really mathy. It is. With the pen tool selected, the pen tool is like the bread and butter of Illustrator. It is a difficult tool to use. I've been using it for like 15 years and it still sometimes frustrates me. We aren't going to use it a ton in this class because kids get really frustrated with it, but mastering the pen tool is mastering Illustrator. So once you know how to use the pen tool and understand the pen tool, you know what Illustrator is all about. So with the pen tool selected, if you go over this line, you'll see every anchor point. When you hover over it, it will say anchor and also will have a little minus. So if you get rid of it, if you click the minus, it will get rid of the anchor point. And the line is going to change then. Oops. Remember, Command Z is an undo command. When you click an anchor point, also, if you hold, let's see, Command over an anchor point, hold the Command key over an anchor point, click and drag, and then you are changing the information that is going into that anchor point. So hold Command over an anchor point, click and drag, and you're all of a sudden telling this anchor point now, okay, actually, I want you to curve more. You can also hold Command when you're over just part of the path, and a little curvy-wurvy is going to show up. And you can move the line around. And you'll notice when you move the line that the surrounding anchor points are changing their behavior too. Whee! We're going to mess around with this a lot with like letter forms. You guys are going to be able to adjust and personalize letter forms. But this is just a very quick intro to what are each of these like shapes and lines actually made out of. They are actually mathematical equations of the curve in between 2 points. I've never been much of a math lady. So for me, just playing around, pulling stuff around and seeing what happens is how I learn how this stuff behaves. Wee, woo, woo. So we are going to save a couple of different things. So if you just press Command S, that is going to save the the Illustrator document on the Creative Cloud that you saved on Friday. It's just going to save what we have, and it'll save it as an AIC. If you made a new document today, you can click Save to Cloud. Remember, the only things that are going to save are what's on the artboards. Adobe Illustrator files can only be read by Adobe Illustrator, which is fine for us in this class. But if you wanted to show them to other people, Adobe Illustrator is not going to cut it, because very few people actually have that program, except for if they're designers. So we're going to save some copies. You're going to put this, we're going to save a copy of this and put it on our website. Even if you don't think it's that beautiful, we're just going to do it so that we get the practice. So we're going to save a copy as a raster image, which is crazy, I know. Why do we make these vectors if we're just going to save it as a raster? Well, on the web, because the web is pixelated anyway, we really don't need this high def kind of work. So saving as a JPEG is what we're going to do in order to put stuff on our student website. So to do that, you're going to go to File, Save As, Save on your computer, and you're going to call this, I don't know, whatever, number 1. You can save it on the desktop. We're going to change our format. Oh, I guess we have to do a PDF. Gosh darn it. Hold, please. Okay. I'm such an nincompoop. Ignore what I just said. And not everything, but we're actually going to go to File and Export. Export as. And you can call it number 1 or... And it can still go to your desktop, but we're going to change the format to JPEG, JPG. If we clicked Use Artboards, which we will eventually, it would make a different JPEG file for each of these pieces of paper. But we don't need that. We just want a picture of the whole thing as a whole. So we're not going to click Use Artboards. So it should say number 1 or whatever, your name. Save it to the desktop. Format is JPEG. And export. Just go to, let's see. No, just go to regular export. Color model CMYK is fine. Quality, fine. All that's fine. Okay. And then hopefully on your desktop, you will see something that says number 1. So this basically just looks like all the stuff that we did. Without the workspace. Does anyone need help with that? No shame in the game. Hold on.